All right, so back here on the 1978 Toyota pickup and working on the steering linkage here. So been fiddling with this for a while now. I did have two double joints in there in order to make it easier to connect, but the amount of distortion and movement between those joints when they're there, even with the steering brace in the middle, was just crazy, and it was gonna be impossible. So now just using a single joint on the shaft that goes to the column, still the double joint that goes over into the rack. And so this is seeming to be okay. So I got my crappy random seat in here and my trash. I ain't got a wheel that fits on here yet, so just got a pair of vice grips on here, but rotating this around and seems to be okay. You can see right here what's happening is I need to stabilize the column. And so at this point, if the column was completely stable, I wouldn't get all that deflection in the double joint. And so the original rack had oh, I had to cut it off. Well, it's done root now, but if you look, you can see there are a couple of mounting bolts here, here, and here, and then it actually mounted up in here, but I had to clearance all that out in order to fit the engine. And so what I'm gonna have to build is a piece of metal to cover over this piece, to keep water out and preserve the firewall and everything. But I'm also going to have provisions for mounting holes and make sure that the steering shaft is in the correct position. And then if that gets mounted in here, and then, I got 3 from the original ones, and then I'll probably add like 1 or 2 more in the metal that I added here in order to get that stabilized in there, because like I show you, when it gets into some of these positions, you can see that it's not actually spinning, it's just moving that bottom U-joint, and it's because the steering shaft is allowed to shift around. And so that's the next thing that I'll work on. It's been a hell of a time, honestly, trying to get all this to work. So kudos to engineers that design steering systems, because this shit is not easy. So, but coming along. All right, thanks. See you in the next one.